Hey guys, what is going on? It's the Heart Pirates TCG here. I won 2 tournaments with this Croc deck back-to-back at my locals. I think this deck, if you're not playing a ton of Zoros, is really good, which my locals is not full of a ton of Zoros. Basically has everything else but a bunch of Zoros. But this deck is really good into Whitebeard, Luffy, Lucci, Smoker. It's pretty good into Cat because you just have so many blockers, so I think this deck is actually really good. But I did horrible at the Treasure Cup because like every game I played just came down to like one card pretty much. So I mean, it's just not powerful enough to play at like big tournaments. But for local tournaments, I think this deck is totally fine. Let me go ahead and talk about the list, and then I'll tell you what things could change if you're playing just at local. So 2 Peronas. I only put the Peronas in here because of the Zoro matchup. Ideally this deck wants to go first, and I think Perona, and by the way, this card is I took it out of its sleeves right now because I'm just waiting till OP04 to play it again. I'm taking a different deck to the regionals in Orlando, and I'll tell you guys which one probably later on. So Perona sets up your deck. You want to draw all your cards obviously on curve, so like Ivankov and things like that, and Mihawk. And this is just how you set up your plays. So, like, this is a very, very, very big tempo deck. So Perona helps with that. And then for the 2Ks, we're playing 4 Kaya. Kaya can help cycle your hand. I don't like playing her because I'm not playing Overheat, so there's not really a way for me to bring her back to my hand, but that is an option if I need to. And then we have 4 Mihawk. Mihawk, I am playing 1 Gecko in here, so like he is a target for that if I need a 2K. So that's just generic. And then I am playing 4 Mr. 2 what is his name? Bonclay? Bentham, I don't know. Mr. 2. He is an Impel Down. At the very worst, he is a 2K. Or at the very worst, he is a target for Ivankov and a 2K, and he can attack a character on board and then bottom deck a different character at the end. So like along with him, but it's a way like if you really need 2 characters off the board, this is actually really good for that. So I played him once at the Treasure Cup, and because I just didn't have the Ivankov or the Crocodile, and it was okay, but I don't know. This deck just it's just not powerful. It can be very good and oppressive, but it's just not powerful. You know, like you really need a bunch of cards to work in harmony. So that's why I just wouldn't play it at another big tournament, because I just tried it and it just felt really bad. I played 2 Zoros, a Doflamingo, and a Whitebeard, and I should have beat the Whitebeard, but I didn't draw Mihawk, and I beat 1 Zoro. I should have beat the second Zoro, but he had like the perfect curve. Or like he had every card like when he needed it. Like he had the Otama Fire Fist, he had the Jet Pistol, and he had just enough for game. Next card in my deck is we're only playing 8 events, and 4 of them are 3000 Worlds. This card's broken, especially with your leader effect. You can bottom deck a 5 and then bounce another 5 with basically just using 4 Dawn. It's great for clearing up boards. So like this deck feels really bad for like the first couple of turns, and then like you hit this point where like you have like 2 cards on board. Like let's say you have like Ivankov and Crocodile, and then the next turn you go 3000 Worlds, you know, clear their board, or clear a card on board, and then you attack like rested characters to clear that, and then you use Croc's effect. Like you wipe the whole board, and then you have like 4 or 5 cards on field. So like it feels really bad until you have that like one turn where you just go off, and this card's really good at doing that, especially when you start Dawn minusing, because you're never playing with 9. You're pretty much never getting to like 9 or 10 Dawn again when you start Dawn minusing with Crocodile. The next card I'm playing is 4 Sanji's Pilaf. MVP of the deck in my opinion. This card is absolutely insane. Some of my favorite things is when I go first, and if I hit like the perfect curve, like whatever into Ivankov into Mihawk, and then use Croc's effect to Dawn minus, I'm at 9 Dawn. The next turn I'll be at 7 Dawn, and then I can use like 3000 Worlds and Sanji's Pilaf, and if I want to, Croc's effect. So like I still get 2 cards off the board, but I get 2 draws as well, so it's pretty good. I like it a lot, and it's also a great trigger too. I'm playing 1 Gecko Maria. He's like so generic. Like sometimes he's a 1K counter. Sometimes you like actually want to keep him in your hand to like, get back a Kuma that you had to discard early. So yeah, he's all right. He won me one of the Zoro games earlier. Then I'm playing 4 Pacifista. This is mainly because like I just like 4/6 vanillas. I think they're just really strong, especially into Newgate. So like playing Kuma, taking a hit, even if it's just like a 5 or a 6 against Newgate, and then playing out this Pacifista, I think is actually really strong because like, I don't know, like you want all the resources to be like managed pretty well, and you know, for like a 4/6 always is going into Newgate, and they always have to discard a card, maybe even 2 depending on what you do with it. So 4 Pacifista, and then for the blockers now we're playing 2 Missile Sunday. I was playing 3 and then I took out 1 because I wanted to fit another card in there that I'll show you later, but you could bump this up if you want to. I personally wouldn't, just because sometimes it's dead. Like sometimes you just don't see your events. You only play 8 of them, so this card sometimes is just a blocker, but it's good. Like it's really good when it comes up. Maybe 3, but that's only if you add events to this, which you can't, just depends. I personally wouldn't. I'm playing 4 Doflamingo. Ideally, when you're going first, you want to see either Perona or Doflamingo, or honestly both, you know, like, and what you do is you set up with your Perona or your Doflamingo, you set up your Ivankov play, because usually you have one in hand. You either have like an Ivankov or a Crocodile, and then you're searching for the other one with Doflamingo, and then you like draw it on your turn 7 Dawn play. So also he's a blocker that can't be killed by Marco. Can be Fire Fisted though, which is very annoying, but Fire Fist is a broken card in general. So 4 Doflamingo, love that card to death, think he's great. Playing 1 Mr. 3 Galdino. I think this card actually has come up a lot. Irizuma just isn't as Irizuma just isn't as good, because like his effect comes up like all the time. Like sometimes like you really need to be aggressive with this deck to just start clearing board. So like putting 2 on him and swinging 7 at like whatever, and then discarding like some dead like Mihawk or you know whatever it is, like an Ivankov in hand. If you draw into another one and just like restand him as a blocker, I think it's actually pretty good, and it comes up way more than you think. I was playing 2. I had to cut him for 1 card that I'm going to mention later. I'm playing 2 Kuma. You can kind of mess around with this ratio a little bit too. I like 2. I felt like I had him when I wanted him, and when I didn't need him, I didn't have him. Honestly, Kuma, like I'm cool with either having the Pacifista or Kuma in hand. Like sometimes I'll just play Kuma and like swing with it, and they won't attack into it because they're like, oh, he's just gonna bring out a Pacifista. So like you can just play him and then like keep attacking and like bait the Pacifista, and like sometimes he'll stay on the field for like 2 or 3 turns, and then you can just like draw into the Pacifista, and then like the second they kill him, they're like, oh, like I told you he had it the whole time. Good thing I didn't do that. But like truthfully, you're just bluffing. Then I'm playing 2 Laws. I don't play him until after like late game, especially into red. Like as soon as red like gets past like I think when it gets like 9 or 10 Dawn, that's like when I start playing the Laws. And honestly, even the Missile Sundays as well, unless I need like a card in the trash. But like there's just so many ways to kill him. So like later on in the game, they have less of those. Like they have less Marcos, they have less Fire Fists because they already used them. So that's when the Laws start coming in to play. He's good. I probably wouldn't play more than 2 of them though. This card I played specifically for Zoro, and it actually was like super broken into Zoro. Like I said, he had the Otama Fire Fist to get rid of this, but like the second I dropped this card, he made his plays like way different, and that's started at Crocodile blocker. What he does is Dawn 1. You can when on block you can bottom deck a 2 or less, and that's once per turn. So I just think it's really good. So like basically what happened was like he had to swing. Like, so in the Zoro matchup today where this was actually really good, I ended up losing, but there was a turn, like when I dropped him, the next turn he had like 3 1-drops and like 7 cards in hand, and he like just put a bunch of like Dawn on Marco and Zoro on his leader, and just like swung high at my life. And like that's fine, because that's like a losing recipe. Like I'm totally down to take that, and I blocked one of them, not with Crocodile, but like with like a blocker law or something. It just makes him play like way differently, and it's actually really good. And one of my friends told me to play this. I think it's really good if you have Zoros and Laws in the matchup. But if you're playing this at locals and there's not a lot of Zoros and Laws, you can cut this and play whatever. And then the engine of the deck, I'm playing 3 Ivankovs. I would play 4, but this card just clogs way too much. Seeing it too much is just really, really annoying. It's a draw. So like a lot of the times it's really good because like you'll like if you really need to, you can play this with like this will be your second card. You play it and you go down to 1 card and then you draw 2, and then you have a chance of finding another impel down, or you just take the draw 2 and have a 7 body on the field, a 7k with that pot of greed to you. So I think that is really good, and it can also get out your Mr. 2 Galdino and Bonclay, and also gets out Crocodile. Guys, when this card gets on the field, he like pretty much never leaves. Like unless you're playing against like, I don't know, like black or something, like this card like never, or I guess blue mirror too, like this card like never leaves the field. I don't know what it is, but like having like 2 7Ks that just like constantly swing at your life, or just, it's like puts so much pressure on the board, especially when you're like bouncing their blockers or like bottom decking their blockers. Like they feel the pressure immensely, and like that's like when you surround him with like 1 or 2 blockers with like 6 cards in hand, and then you have the draw 2 with peel off, like it feels like there's no answer, there's no solution. There's no solution. You guys listen to Sum 41. And then last card in the deck, we're playing 3 Mihawk. Sometimes I wish this was 4, sometimes I wish this was 0, because like sometimes you draw him way too much. The thing is, this deck should be very consistent, right? Like you're playing Pilafs, you're playing Doflamingos, you're playing Peronas. It should be very consistent. However, sometimes like you just don't draw this card, and like you need it. Like the Whitebeard matchup that I lost, Whitebeard's like my best matchup by far. Like it's actually like almost unwinnable for them, right? And the Whitebeard matchup I lost, he played Thatch on the turn where I should have had Mihawk on turn 9 Dawn, and like I wasn't able to punish him because like I didn't have the Mihawk, and that's after I bottom decked like 5 cards with Perona or like Doflamingo, and then I think I drew 4, like 1 with a trigger of peel off and 1 just activating its effect, and like I still wasn't able to find it on curve until like until after I already pretty much lost. So like sometimes I wish this was 4, sometimes I wish it would, like I had played none at all. It's really good into the Newgate matchup, it's great into the blue matchup, it's great into it's really, really, really good into black, and it's okay into yellow. You can bottom deck their big moms, their 7-cost big moms, and like their 4 drops or whatever. But yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys would play this, if you guys do play this, let me know how it goes. I'll try to continue bringing you guys some spice. I think this deck is really, really, really good. It's just not good, right? It's not the best right now for trying to win a regionals, which is what I'm trying to do. So taking it apart just for a little bit back until OP04 comes out, and then I will re-examine it with all of the new support we have. And let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.